Hello everybody, it's Lindsay from The Vintage Button, and today we have another flip through. It's Monday and this is a journal, can I reach it? That is from the same book set that this journal that we're working on is from. So it's kind of, that'll give you an idea. I did the holes much better on that one. Don't be too critical on yourself. I mean, I think if I was selling a journal, that blue one I would not sell because it was off centre, but that I feel would be okay, the way they're distance apart. So I wouldn't judge this book by its cover because this is quite neutral and then inside it's not very neutral, but I do like this. So this is a piece, so I'm trying to think, this must be from last year because this is from the coronation. So it must have been the end of the summer, so about this time last year that I made this journal. So this is a printable from the Graphics Fairy, one of my painted labels, and this is a good example. I made a video a little while ago about painting, just painting labels with your paints or your markers or whatever. Just make little labels and they sort of slot behind on little, I don't know, this isn't a cluster, it's just sort of, I needed something to go on the front of it, and so I did that. So this is a tag that appears I've put onto some card to give it some heft, and then this is a little tiny piece of, I'm hoping I've got some of this actually in here, and I have described it before through other Junk Journal July, last year's Junk Journal July. It's a piece of the invitation to the coronation of King Charles II. So basically, even if you're out of country, give this a try because you'll get a really nice printable that will blow up quite big, because on the actual invitation this bird is much smaller. So I think it's royal.uk or something like that. And if you flick through to the coronation, there is the official invitation that was sent out to the great and the good. The not so great and the not so good, but you know, the moneyed like kind of people to the actual ceremony. And we were allowed, and I don't know if they've changed the permission on that, but we were allowed to print it out. And so I used to work in an old people's home, so I basically made lots of bespoke invitations that went out, and then they just sort of got littered around the home, so I collected them up and I ended up bringing them home, and they've become part of my Junk Journal stash. And they are really beautiful because it's like an illuminated text, like a medieval text. The way it's been designed is really, really beautiful. So if you want a free printable, I might try, because I put the video up through a phone, through an old phone, I might edit it and with the laptop later on and actually put the link to that printable. Yeah. I wouldn't sell it, you know, like, I don't know what the copyright is, but I don't know, one of the good things about Prince Charles is he likes, King Charles, he likes the eco-friendliness of everything, doesn't he? But don't quote me on that, it is what it is. Anyway, this is this journal. It's made from lots of scraps of pages. So I think I have done videos about me processing books and taking the images out, and then I get left with tons of book page. And so my thing is to use the book page. I don't want it to go to the bin, so I kind of use it in lots of different ways. And so this journal doesn't actually have any of the book pages from the original book. It has lots of book pages from a 1970s flower arranging book that's got a nice heft to it. It's matte paper, and the way I cut the images out, I've got lots of flaps, so you'll see that as we go through, that actually it made for a really interesting book. And when I flicked through this during having my breakfast this morning, I realised that is something that I should do more often. Perhaps not all the way through the journal, but it's definitely something that I should add in to my journals because it makes things interesting. And I think the one that I made after this is like a Halloween-y one that has some similar things in it, that little one. I don't know, but we won't look at that yet. We'll look at that towards Halloween. So this is it. Sweet little bird. I think it's a song thrush, and then there's a robin. So this is the bottom of the sea, and then there's a robin that way. I think one's meant to represent the king and one's meant to represent the queen. So I don't know. When I mean queen, I don't mean Queen Elizabeth. I mean the Queen Camilla. I have neutral personal opinions about all of these people. It's just part of my culture. So there is a mixture of printables and things from magazines, and even like napkins. And this is a clothing tag that's got napkins over it, and it's even got book page that way. I think I've said before about finding interesting things about a book page and then using that, and it like the page was grubby, but even that adds to it. A little bit of gold paint goes a long way. Oh, I've got another one of those little labels. So there's all kinds of printable bits, labely bits in here. And I think what it is because I do this quite often, and this is when I started to realise that less is more. I would fill my journal with the pages, and then I get overwhelmed with the amount of pages that need to be completed. So when it's me making a journal for myself to personally enjoy, I think 30 sides, so that's like 15 pages. I don't know how many. It's about the size of a Junk Journal July, which I've taken downstairs. That's like my optimum, because I'm just getting fed up of it by the end of Junk Journal July. So this is not going to be completed. Like most of my journals, they're not completely completed. And I might, Monday I might come back in and have a fiddle about with it. I probably won't though. I probably would have moved on to other things, and I already have. I've got quite a few journals on the go, because this is an expression of who I am, and that might be never quite completed. So it's all right. Is that a bit too deep? I don't know. This is like literally the practice that keeps me sane. This is my mental health, taking care of my mental health practice. It's probably, to some extent, I'm not very spiritual, but this is probably my spiritual practice. This is the thing that helps to keep my brain happy. So there we go. Might be the thing that keeps your brain happy too. I don't know. I would have thought it's amongst the things that keeps your brain happy. That's why you're here. So yeah, so it's got lots of recycled bits and pieces. Tuxedo pocket, kind of everywhere. And you can see this space here, and I haven't written in it. I think I do have some bits and pieces. I know there's 2 journals from last year where I was crossing over from one job to another, and it's like going in what's too personal, what's not too personal. I wasn't very happy at the previous job, and I stayed there a bit too long for reasons. And so the transition it was painful. So there are some musings. I'll have to see whether I want, if I cover anything up in other. But what I did like about this, which is similar to what I did in the other one, and actually I didn't look at this before I did it to the other one, but I knew I'd done this. And I like the mellow colours. I really like the vivid colours in the other one, but I really like the mellow colours of this one. So it's kind of, I guess that does kind of belie. But it's quite neutral, whereas this is not. This is a bit more colourful. But I like changing the actual nature of the pages. So you begin to see that like all these pages they're not the same size. They've got some difference to them, which I quite like. This is a pocket made from a tea packet. So when you get tea in nice little packets, if you're a tea drinker, we are tea drinkers here. We generally get boxes of the same, so like mint or rooibos, which is a South African tea, because my husband was born in South Africa. Literally my family are from everywhere because of him and because of some of mine. But yeah, we're spread out. We're a global family. But this is lemon and ginger, bog standard winter tea. put lots of honey in it and have a paracetamol when you've got a Lemsip. So yeah, so I've just stuffed it with like my little stamped things in books and some book page that was like interesting patina to it. Things don't have to be complicated, and again we've got empty pages, but they still layer up quite nicely. An empty space like this could be a journal you do lots of scribbling in. I think somebody commented about using book pages to make a surface to journal in and like to give it away. You know what you could do? So like if I was going to give this, not necessarily sell it, but if I was going to give this away, I would probably include a couple of pens, because oh, shall we draw in here? Is this a good pen to do this? I'm going to write flip through 23. There you go. So you can actually see what's written there. You can journal on book page, particularly if you change it a little bit, you know, kind of knock the writing towards the back so that the writing that you have towards the front, you can still sort of use it as a journal. But there we go. So there's that. This is a printable of a big sunflower. I've started to amend and draw, and that was kind of when I started drawing over printables. And if like, because this was done on a laser printer, I have somewhere, and then I bet I've put it away. I have, but you know, like very fine sandpaper. Oh, here it is. So this is P320, and it is very fine. It's like you could do your nails with it. It's like emery board sort of fine, just to take the shine off things, and then you can add like a tooth to it. Again, empty page. So this is a tuck spot just made with a magazine piece, and then we've got stamped butterflies. Nothing too exciting. This is the first of my flips. Now, so like this could be made quite exciting. Like you could put something completely like unexpected in here. You could use this as an opportunity to do some sort of pop-up. I bet if you did a fan or something, you know, like just a simple fan, and then when you opened it up, it would sort of fan out. There's all kinds of stuff, but that, you know, just a little flip through, and then there's lots of different sizes. Like, yeah, there's loads of journaling space in this. This is one of those like wraparound ladder pockets, which I quite enjoy making these. And we've got like bits out of magazines put onto book page. We've got printable bits and pieces here. More printables like graphics fairy ones, bits from magazines, my stamped images, a little tea thing that's not been made into anything yet. A tea tag. I guess it's a tea tag. I like the messy painting. Just stuff in, like there's a feather here. I picked a fantastic feather up at the weekend when I was walking around. So this is clothing labels that's sort of been backed in other things. That's quite, I think that's probably been backed with a bit of cereal packet, or just like kind of backed one side and keep the neutral side empty. I haven't put any ribbon on these tags yet. You could, or you could not. You could just leave it. So here's a bit of a mistake. This page is really fragile, so it probably shouldn't have been made into a pocket, but you know, you live and learn. Queen bee. So this is a printable that was actually of an ornament for the Jubilee, not actually the coronation. That I've sort of cut out all the gubbins that sort of had the embroidery saying king or queen's name, and then like the date underneath. I've just sort of cut that out to make it look like a wire crown. Put a bee printable that's handwritten in water soluble pencil, and again you can see it flips out that way. So it's got, you know, they're not fantastically engineered flips. It's just been using the paper that I've had. Keep flipping through these. I do repeats as well. I kind of like will use the same pocket again, put in some different things, more tea packets that's not been sandpapered. I'll give you an example of sandpapering, and you'll see like the difference that makes. Just sort of knocks it back. It's up to you how much you do it. Makes it look older, you know, that's a new type of tea packet, but when you just sort of, it looks more vintage. I don't do the inking thing. I do have inks, but I don't really do the inking thing. I'm going to show you some of the things I've used inks on, and I'll talk through why I didn't like it in the end. But yeah, just like use a tiny bit of sandpaper or a nail file just to take the edge, the gloss off things. So more clothing tags turned into tags. Some of my stamped images. A flip. There's so much can be done with those flips. Some postcards. Just a very simple belly band from like an old book that's got actually somebody's handwriting in it. More flips. This is a tea pocket where I've just used a tag. See, I could put the tag that I found, actually put that through there, and then it would look like a tea bag. Napkin, bits of gold, pocket with stamped images, printables. This is from a book. She's quite a pretty lady. More postcards and such. So it's probably very similar, and this is where I do think I've got a little bit overwhelmed, and I don't want to just show you things that are absolutely perfect and like, oh, look at this is beautiful. And I think my Junk Journal July books are the most polished books that I do, that are just completely full journals. I think I make some nice empty books that, you know, like naked journals, and they're gonna go in the advent calendars. But like for me, I just get overwhelmed. But it's sort of letting go of that and thinking that this is actually valid. It's a valid piece of art for myself. And I can always go in, see like there's something that's not quite finished there. I could fussy cut that out, and I think I've obviously thought I would put it, glue it over the two bits. And then what's going on here? We've got a tuck spot. Some beads. I've got a big tag. I think that's like a clothing or some sort of packaging, just rebacked and the hole cut out. See, this is a little bit of that invitation. So you can see this is like just literally the top, and then it goes out and around like that, and it's just so beautiful, and it's like an illuminated text. So this bird here that's quite small, and this is actually quite a big version of the invitation, but that bird's quite small, so you can see how big it will blow up when you've got lots of fussy cutty bits. I'm sure if you right click on it and do it for your own use and not sell it, it would be absolutely fine. And that's the back. But don't quote me, I don't give legal advice or copyright advice. So that's it really for this flip through. I think it's a nice little book. It's one of the ones I like to pick up when I'm having my breakfast, because it reminds you of like the flippy things I quite like about this book. I think I put far too many pages in, and that's why I haven't worked in all of it, because if I worked in all of it and filled it up, it would be one of those big gatory mouth ones, and that's not my jam at all. So if you actually look, if we compare this one, which is the one we started working on, you can already see that there's even though I think I've put too many in this really, but you can see the difference. And I haven't really done a lot in that book, but you can see the big difference. And this doesn't have the same types of flips in. It's got lots of engineered stuff in it, but it was the colours that this really inspired all of this colour, but this colour's more vivid. But there we go. I'm quite excited about working in this. I'm excited about working in all of my journals. I'm excited by the challenge in this, so I'll just sort of repeat what the challenge is that I don't use the images from magazines in it. I don't use printables in it. I've allowed myself some napkins because they would be on the page and the page kind of comes through, and obviously ink for stamping images and paint to make a bright journal. But it's sewn in the same way. Like I said, it's a bit off centre, but I used ribbon and made the tie that way. And if you think you're going to make a chunky monkey, just reverse the way you've sewn the signatures in so that you've got long strings on the outside, and that becomes your tie, and it's integral, so it's got loads of strength to it, and you don't have to worry about making a tie. It's already there. I mean, I don't think I've very well estimated my strings here, but I think it works. It's serviceable. Whereas that one, I've been a lot more intentional about it, and the little plait goes all the way down the edge. It's organza ribbon. So we will be working on that blue one a lot more. We'll probably work on that one at some point this week, and the other little bits and pieces that I've got on the go too. So yeah, this has been our flip through for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've had a better day than I have had. We've had road closures going into work. I like to get into work or near my place of work. I officially start at 9 o'clock, but when I have an office day, I like to be dropped off at a local supermarket so I can spend 5 minutes getting my lunch and getting something I really want, walk to work, and then have like 20 minutes before I actually officially start work sorting myself out. And today our charity's merging with another charity, and it was like a big transition day for systems. Oh my word. I think I actually managed to get into like the main system that I work in at 3:30 this afternoon. So I've got loads of work to do, and it's been a very frustrating day. I was very much glad to be getting in the car at the end of the day and getting away. And then there's the traffic to contend because it was raining in Cambridge, and everybody forgets their ecological sensibilities and gets in the car. So it was really bad traffic. But there you go. That that was my day in a nutshell. So that's really good. I thought I'd leave the advert till the end, but if you're new and you've not lasted this long, you won't know. If you like, comment and subscribe to the channel and the videos, you get entry into a competition to win. I've got like 2 bags here. An advent calendar made from a Victorian book. It will be stuffed with stuff. I'll try and get to that. I don't know when. But I will try and get to that because the competition will be ending in loads of weeks actually. I've got lots of time. Like and comment on each video after you've commented today, and that'll be more and more entries into the competition. We are going to, I'll show you one of my slow stitches that's not quite going to happen until a while, but this is something I made my daughter when she was little, and this was her hat for the switching on of the light ceremony at primary school, and this is what we're going to draw our entries from. I might line it or do something to it that's different, and that'll be our adventy Christmas entry thing. I want to do things as not digital as possible because I don't like looking at a computer screen after I've looked at a computer screen, particularly one that's just said please be patient with me, and not do anything all day. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me just show you one of the big advent calendars that will be in my soon to be launched Etsy shop, and this gives you an idea of what the giveaway calendar will be. It's not fixed on that side, but all the presents are fixed. You'll be able to stand it up like a homemade luxury advent calendar. What's not to like? There we go. Definitely going now. I'll see you tomorrow. We are going to either make a 3D star, which is somewhere around here, like a barn star, or we're going to work in a journal tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully not as frazzled as I am today. Alright then everybody, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.